The lamp flickers when she speaks the words. I betrayed you to save my sister. Cade Morrison stands with his back to her, one hand braced against the doorframe. The night air carries the scent of sage and dust through the open window. His knuckles whiten against the wood. Emma watches the muscles in his shoulders tighten beneath the worn cotton of his shirt. She counts her breaths. 3, 4, 5. He doesn't turn. Cade. The single word drops like a stone into still water. She wraps her arms around herself, though the room isn't cold. The fire in the hearth pops. Outside, a coyote calls to nothing and no one. They had Rachel, she continues. Her voice sounds strange to her own ears, flat, mechanical. Bishop's men said they told me what they'd do to her if I didn't tell them where you'd be. When? Cade's head lowers. His hat shadows his face. She's 14 years old. I know how old your sister is. Emma flinches. She deserves that. Deserves worse than that. She thinks of the 3 months she's lived in this house. The way he brought her here after the flood destroyed the boarding house where she'd worked. How he gave her the bedroom and slept on the porch. Never asked for anything. Never demanded. Never touched her except once when she stumbled coming down the stairs and his hand caught her elbow. Steady. Sure. She remembers his eyes then. How they'd looked at her like she was something more than used up and desperate. I didn't know they'd kill Turner and his boys, she whispers. Bishop said they just wanted to know where you'd be. Said they only wanted to talk. Now Cade does turn. His face could be carved from the same sandstone as the mesas beyond town. A scar cuts white through his left eyebrow, gift from a knife fight in Abilene. His eyes are the color of creek water, gray-green, and impossible to read. You believed Frank Bishop. It isn't a question. I believed my sister would die if I didn't. He looks at her for a long moment, studies her like she's a stranger, like he's seeing her clearly for the first time and finding nothing worth the trouble. Get out. His words to hit like fists. Cade, please, get your things and get out of my house. He doesn't raise his voice. Doesn't need to. The finality in those words is absolute. He turns back to the door, steps through it, and the darkness swallows him whole. Emma stands in the lamplight, listening to his boots on the porch steps, the creak of leather as he mounts his horse, hoofbeats fading down the road toward town. She looks around the room, at the quilt she mended last week, the coffee cup still on the table from breakfast, the half-finished carving he'd been working on, a bird, wings spread, almost ready to fly. She starts to pack. Dawn finds her on the road with everything she owns in a canvas bag. The sky bleeds pink and orange over the eastern hills. Her boots raise small clouds of dust with each step. She doesn't look back at the house, growing smaller behind her. Rachel waits in town. Safe now. Bishop's men scattered after the marshal arrived. Too late for Turner and his crew, but soon enough to save what mattered. Rachel doesn't know what Emma traded for her life. Doesn't need to know. Emma's feet blister by midday. The sun climbs white and merciless. She rests in the shade of a cottonwood, drinks from her canteen, and watches a hawk circle overhead. Hunting, always hunting. She thinks about Cade's face when she told him, the way something died in his eyes. She'd loved him, hadn't meant to, hadn't thought herself capable anymore after everything. But somewhere between the silent breakfasts and the evenings spent reading while he carved, love had crept in quiet as frost. She'd felt it the morning she woke to find he'd fixed the loose board on the porch so she wouldn't trip. The afternoon, he brought home fabric for a new dress without her asking. The night he sat with her, when the nightmares came and didn't ask questions, just brought her tea and waited until her hands stopped shaking. She hadn't told him. What would have been the point? Now, there's no point to anything at all. Town appears as the sun starts its descent. She finds Rachel at the church where Emma had sent her to wait with Reverend Michaels and his wife. Rachel's eyes are red-rimmed, her face too thin. Emmy. Rachel runs to her. Emma catches her, holds tight. You're all right now. We're all right. Where will we go? Emma doesn't have an answer. They have $17 between them. No family left except each other. The boarding house is gone. She burned her only refuge when she opened her mouth and spoke those words to save her sister. Mrs. Michaels appears in the doorway. You'll stay here tonight, she says. Not an offer, a statement. We'll figure the rest tomorrow. Emma nods because she's too tired to do anything else. That night she lies beside Rachel in the small guest room. Her sister sleeps hard, the sleep of the finally safe. Emma stares at the ceiling and counts her losses. Adds them up like figures in a ledger. Everything she had, which wasn't much, but was something, gone. She thinks of Cade somewhere in the darkness. Wonders if he's in some saloon drowning what she did to him. Wonders if he hates her. Hopes he does. Hating is easier than the alternative. The church bell tolls midnight. Emma hears footsteps on the porch. Heavy, familiar. Her heart climbs into her throat. A knock, quiet, insistent. She rises, careful not to wake Rachel, moves through the dark house to the front door. Her hand hesitates on the latch. Another knock. She opens the door. Cade stands there, hat in his hands. His hair is mussed, like he's been running his fingers through it. His eyes find hers in the moonlight. I need to ask you something, he says. Emma waits. If it was me, if they had me and said they'd kill me unless you gave up Rachel, what would you have done? The question hangs between them like smoke. I would have let them kill you, she says. I would have let them kill anyone. Everyone. The whole damn town. He nods slowly. That's what I thought. So you understand? No. He puts his hat back on. But I'm trying to. He comes back 3 days later. Emma is hanging laundry in the yard behind the church when she sees him ride up. The sheets snap white in the wind, her hands still on the clothesline. Cade dismounts. ties his horse to the fence, walks toward her with that unhurried gait that says he's decided something and won't be swayed. Reverend says you're looking for work. Emma pins another sheet. I am. I need help with the harvest. She turns to face him fully. You don't grow anything. Started a kitchen garden this spring. Got away from me. He looks at the ground, at the sky, anywhere but at her. Could use someone who knows what they're doing. They both know he's lying. She'd seen that garden. A few rows of beans and squash. Nothing that requires two people. Why? She asks. Now he does look at her. Because Turner and those boys. That's on Bishop. Not you. Took me some time to see it clear, but I do now. I still told them where you'd be. You did. You should hate me for it. Should. He shifts his weight. Don't seem to work that way, though. A sheet billows between them. Emma catches it, pins it down. Her hands shake slightly. Rachel comes too, she says. I won't leave her again. Figured as much. House has 2 bedrooms. She can have one, you can have the other. And you? Porch suits me fine. Emma studies his face, the scar through his eyebrow, the lines around his eyes that speak of squinting into too many hard suns, the set of his jaw that says he's made up his mind, and that's the end of it. I don't deserve this, she says quietly. Probably not. He picks up a fallen clothespin, hands it to her. But deserving and needing are different things. Rachel appears at the back door of the church. She sees Cade and freezes. It's all right, Emma calls to her. Come here. Rachel approaches slowly. She's small for 14, thin as a willow switch. Her blonde hair needs washing. Cade nods to her. Miss Rachel. Mr. Morrison. Her voice barely carries. Your sister's coming to help me with some work. You'll be coming too, if that suits you. Rachel looks at Emma. Emma nods. Yes, sir, Rachel says. That suits me fine. They ride out that afternoon. Emma and Rachel share Cade's horse while he walks alongside. The road stretches empty before them. The sun begins its slow descent. When they reach the house, nothing has changed, and everything has changed. The same porch, the same door, the same rooms inside. But now, there's Rachel's bag in the small bedroom, Emma's things in the larger one, Cade's bedroll on the porch like he promised. That night Emma cooks supper. Nothing fancy. Beans and cornbread. Coffee that's too strong. They eat in silence, punctuated only by the scrape of forks on plates. Rachel excuses herself early, exhausted from the ride and the weight of recent days. Emma washes the dishes. Cade dries. They work side by side without speaking. Once, their hands touch, reaching for the same cup. Emma pulls back. Cade continues drying. I won't hand this for anything, he says finally. From you. Won't expect anything. Just need you to know that. Emma nods. Doesn't trust her voice. But I need to know you won't run again. Not without telling me. Not without giving me a chance to... He stops. Sets down the cup. Just don't disappear. I won't. Swear it. She looks at him. She really looks. Sees something raw and unguarded in his expression. Something that looks like fear. I swear. He nods. Picks up another dish. Outside, the coyotes begin their nightly chorus. The fire in the hearth settles into coals. Emma finishes the washing and goes to her room. Separate, safe, hers. But she doesn't lock the door. Autumn comes slow and golden. Emma works the garden in the early mornings before the heat ices. Rachel helps, learning the difference between bridze and what should stay. Cade repairs the fence, mends the chicken coop, builds a cold frame for winter greens. They move around each other like dancers learning new steps. The town watches. Emma feels their eyes every Sunday at church. Hears the whispers that cut off when she passes. Mrs. Henderson won't speak to her. The banker's wife crosses the street to avoid her path. Only Cade seems not to notice. Or maybe he notices and doesn't care. People talk, Emma says one evening. They're on the porch, Rachel already asleep inside. The air smells of wood smoke and coming rain. Let them. They say, I'm living in sin, that we're, are we? She looks at him. He's whittling that bird again. It's nearly finished now. The wings are delicate, impossibly detailed. No, she says. Then their talk is just wind. He blows the wood shavings from his knife. Wind passes. But the wind doesn't pass. It builds into a storm. She's in town buying flour when she sees Bishop. He's standing outside the saloon with 2 of his men. His eyes find her across the street. He smiles. Emma's blood goes cold. She turns to leave, but he's already crossing toward her. Miss Emma. He tips his hat. Heard you're staying at Morrison's place. She'd answer. Funny thing, Morrison used to be right particular about his company. Guess times change. He leans closer. Or maybe he just doesn't know what you really are. Leave her alone, Frank. Cade's voice comes from behind her. Emma hadn't heard him approach. Bishop straightens. Just making conversation. Make it elsewhere. They stare at each other. 2 dogs circling. Emma sees the calculation in Bishop's eyes. The weighing of odds. Sure thing. Bishop touches his hat brim. No harm meant. He walks away, but his smile remains. That night, Cade is quiet. He carves, with sharp, angry strokes. You should have let me handle it, Emma says. Handle what? Him talking to you like you're dirt? I am dirt. To them. To everyone in this town. The knife stills. Not to me. Then you're a fool. He sets down the carving, looks at her with something fierce in his eyes. Maybe so. But I'm a fool who knows what it means when someone trades everything to save what they love. That's not dirt, Emma. That's something rare. She feels tears threaten. Blinks them back. I destroyed your trust. You broke it, he agrees. But broken things can be mended. My father used to say, the repair is sometimes stronger than the original. He picks up the carved bird. This fell off my workbench last week. Wing snapped clean off. Had to reattach it. See here? He shows her the join. Can barely tell it broke. But I know, and knowing makes me more careful with it. Emma takes the bird, runs her finger along the repaired wing. The wood is smooth, seamless. Why did you really come back? She asks. That night at the church. Cade is quiet for a long moment, because I rode into town ready to drink until I forgot. But I sat there, in the saloon, with a bottle in front of me, and realized I didn't want to forget, didn't want to stop feeling, even though it hurt. He meets her eyes, and I kept thinking about you on that road alone, about Rachel, about everything you'd already lost. Seemed wrong to add to it just because I was angry. You had every right. Rights don't make a home, Emma. Choices do. The rain that's been threatening finally comes. Soft at first, then harder. It drums on the porch roof. Emma hands the bird back to him. I love you, she says. Simple, quiet, true. His hand stops halfway to accepting the carving. Thought you should know, she continues. Before anything else happens. Before Bishop tries something, or the town runs us out, or whatever comes next. You should know that. Cade sets the bird down carefully. Stands. Emma's heart hammers as he moves toward her. He stops an arm's length away. Can I? He stops, starts again. Would it be all right if I? She closes the distance. His arms come around her tentatively, like he's afraid she'll break, or run, or vanish like smoke. She doesn't. She holds on, feels his heart beating against her cheek, breathes in the scent of him, a sage, and wood shavings, and something uniquely Cade. I love you too, he says into her hair. Been trying not to. Seemed complicated. It is complicated. Most worthwhile things are. They stand there while the rain falls and the night deepens, and inside Rachel sleeps safe in a room that's becoming hers. Emma thinks about broken wings and careful repairs, about wind that passes and storms that don't, about the difference between deserving and needing, about choosing to stay when leaving would be easier. She unpacks her trunk the next morning, fully, for the first time since arriving. Her spare dress goes in the wardrobe. Her mother's silver brush finds a place on the dresser. Her few books line up on the windowsill. Cade sees but says nothing. In spring, they plant a garden 3 times the size of the original. Rachel chooses the seeds. Emma plans the rows. Cade builds trellises for beans to climb. The town still whispers. Bishop still smiles his dangerous smile. The road still runs both ways. But the door stays unlocked. The trunk stays empty. The garden grows. And on the porch in the evenings, a carved bird with mended wings sits on the railing, facing toward whatever comes next. Some things you don't find, some things you build, one careful choice at a time.